It's Wednesday, March the 20th. Lake level's a little over 912. It hadn't changed too much since last week. That's still about 3 foot below normal winter pool. Water temperatures for the most part are in the mid 50s throughout the lake. It gets a little cooler in the morning, but then after the sun's been out for a while, it warms back up. Water clarity throughout the lake is pretty clear. Even the upper river arms, there's a little bit of stain, like up in the James River and Long Creek, Flat Creek, Kings River. Fish are a little bit shallower up there, and it's a little bit warmer once the sun gets up. I want to give a shout out to the guys in the SGM Hunting and Fishing Club. They're down here for the annual deal this weekend, so good luck to you guys. And there were several tournaments this weekend, or 2 big tournaments. I fished them both. And if you don't think that these young kids that are coming out of high school and college have got it together, they are the real deal. I mean, they pretty much dominated the tournaments this weekend. It took 25 pounds with 5 fish to win on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it took almost 31 pounds. It's like, over a 6 pound average. A lot of the guys were live scoping. I don't know exactly how they caught them or where they caught them. I can tell you how we approached the tournament, how we caught them. But, this forward-facing sonar, it's not going away. And I think, for a guy to be able to compete, I've had it since it's come out. But I am not near as efficient with it, apparently, as the younger generation. They have flat got it dialed in. They know, where these big ones are hiding, and they're catching them. So my hat's off to them. Like I say, we see different baits come up, like the Alabama rig. We thought it should be made illegal in tournaments because it's going to change all the fishing. Now it seems to be kind of the Demiki rig. But the thing that's not going to go away is forward-facing sonar. It's just going to the technology is just going to get better and better. So, like I said earlier, if a guy's going to compete, you're going to have to get used to it and get good with it. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of other different ways, to catch fish. And I know a lot of guys that were finished up good in the tournaments, made money. We're not basically live scoping. And the way we caught our fish, we got to practice quite a bit, and we felt like it was going to be one, probably on fish out in the middle of nowhere on a Demiki rig live scoping. And we spent quite a bit of time in practice doing that, and we found several big schools of shad, in the creek, some of them out on the main lake. The problem with that is the shad move so much. A good way to find the shad is just look around for the birds. And then you start idling around. Every day, it's unreal how much they travel. And the fish kind of travel with them. Now, just because you find shad don't mean you're going to find fish underneath them. The guys that are doing really well have got something dialed in to where them big fish are living. And I think they're getting a combination of the, shad and the fish together. But anyways, first day of the tournament, we spent about 3.5 hours. We lost 2 good fish, live scoping out there in the open water. And we also had a crankbait bite going. So we went to our crankbait fish, and in about an hour and a half, we caught a little over 15 pounds and probably caught, 4 or 5 fish the rest of the day. With 15.5 pounds out of 125 boats, put us in, I think, 68th place. That just kind of gives you a clue of the quality of fish that Table Rock is giving up right now. Now, I know some other guys that were catching them on wobble heads. Where we caught our crankbait fish is we were going just outside the spawning pockets. The fish are on the move every day. You're not going to find them in the same place usually from day to day, whether you're out in the middle of the lake fishing or fishing the shoreline. But we tried to key on areas that we know the fish are coming in to spawn, and basically just kept backing out till we found the fish where they were coming in and staging. And we caught a lot of our fish on, mainly on rock crawlers. And we're down in the clear water. You know, we fished from Timberling City up to Long Creek. And when you get underneath the Highway 86 bridge, there is a little bit of stain up there, a little bit of off color. But what we also ran into was a lot of slime on the bottom, on the rocks, which was kind of a pain on the crankbait. But it seemed like once you got from the bridge down to the mouth of the James River and the White River, you know, Point 9, we fished all through that area in 2 days and didn't have any problem with slime at all. But a lot of the crankbaits we're using got a little red hue in them, you know, red and green. And like I said, I think a Wiggle Water will work, a Strike King Series 3 will work, whatever your favorite crankbait is. I know a Fritz side will work as well. But I think you want to be throwing, you know, some kind of a crawdad pattern. Also, I've been catching a few fish on a wobblehead. And it's just, I've been throwing 1/2 ounce and I've been using a Strike King Menace. But you can use any kind of crawler. I mean, you can use a little lizard, hula grub, or any kind of twin tail. Anything that looks like a crawdad. Another bait I've been throwing is it's a 5/8 jewel Pee-wee football jig. And I'm using a little Strike King trailer on it as well. Now, a lot of those fish kind of in the same areas. They're a little bit deeper. There's still fish out there in 35, 40 feet. Now, I didn't catch any in practice at that depth. I did catch them, you know, about 25 feet. But the key areas, for me, seem to be like on a bluff end going into a pocket. You know, the fish are coming up out of the deep water off them channel swings. And, you know, you want to look for the first place where it shallows up and flattens up. It's a good place to throw the jig and the swim baits as well. You know, if you see the fish out there suspended, the Demiki rig, and as the fish, I mentioned it last week, as the fish get higher in the water column, I'll throw, it depends how deep the fish are, what size head. I'll use anywhere from an 1/8 ounce to a 3/8 ounce, depending on wind, and naturally the deeper the fish, the heavier the jig. But this is a missile bait spunk shad, and you know, like a Kitech, a 2.8 or 3.3 will work as well. And I like to try to use shad patterns. Excuse me. These will work good out off the bluff ends and out off the flat gravel points. There's going to be a lot of smallmouth, you know, starting to show up. And on the flat gravel points, what I like to key on, I like a channel or deep water, at least on one side or the other. And in the same, you know, that deep water has been really important for us. Even on the crankbait, we may be fishing it shallow, but there's, you know, usually a cast or two behind the boat. It's 25, 30 feet. It's where them fish are, you know, moving up out of the deep water, coming up the stage and feeding. And we're catching a mixture of everything. The good thing about when this bite starts like that, I think the first day we only had one short fish on the crankbait. Probably had about 10 to 12 keepers, caught several fish. Second day, about the same number of fish, very few short fish, but some really good 3.5 to 3 3/4 pound smallmouth. The second day we had just shy of 17 pounds and ended up 35th out of 150 boats. So, but it's really been piled up in that 15 to 17 pound range. You know, to get in the top 10, you usually got to have 18.5, 19 pounds. But the fish are biting good. You know, another couple weeks they're going to be spawning. Ned rig will work. You know, like I say, the key thing is key on areas where the fish are going to spawn and just back out and start searching that area with, you can pretty much throw whatever your favorite bait is. You can throw like a hula grub, choppers, Ned rig, and start looking for some fish up underneath them docks as well, anywhere from 6 feet to about, you know, 15 to 20 feet down. And, you know, in practice, a lot of the bait, schools of bait I found were underneath the deeper docks, and I could catch them on a Demiki rig in the dock stalls as well. But like I was saying, how everything moves, we were back there tournament day. And you know, some of the creeks that we found that were loaded with shad, we idled around, you know, a mile each way, and I don't know where the shad go, but they sure disappear and cover a lot of water. But you know, like I say, fishing's gonna continue to be good. You should start seeing a lot more numbers of fish. So till next week, good luck, good fishing.